Hi, Dr. Alex Perry here, Chinese medicine doctor, founder and director of the Perry Centre, and of course, the Natural Fertility and Women's Health app. And one of the most important things that we talk about, even before we start a consultation or an initial conversation, is what I think of as the symphony of three parts. There are three really important aspects to that initial conversation. And I put it in this sense. Part one is, where did you come from? And where did you come from really is about collecting an appropriate and thorough history so that we are well informed by what's been happening in your life. And from a Chinese medicine perspective, we're very interested in your medical history, your health history, but also what's happened emotionally, what's happened diet-wise, even geographically, have you moved around? There are a whole range of things that go into influencing your health and your makeup, and it's important that when we're dealing with this history component that we get as much detailed information as possible. So step one is, where did you come from? Step two is, where are you now? And where are you now is critical, because that's where we come up with a Chinese medicine diagnosis. And that diagnosis is very important because it sets the stage for the solution and the pathway moving forward. So having an appropriate diagnosis informed by your history is incredibly important. And then the third part is perhaps the most important part to you, and that is, where are you headed? So we know, pretty clearly, generally, based on what you come in for, your goals moving forward. And it's important that we know very clearly what they are. So part three is about establishing what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, how we're going to go about it, how do we measure our success as we move forward, how do we know how well we're going, and what do we base that on? So that when we've completed that third component, the where are you headed component, you should have a very good, clear idea of not only where you're at and how you got there, but how we're going to move forward. And from my perspective, it's important that we see that as a solutions-based approach. In other words, we know where we're trying to go. These are the stages and the steps and the things that we need to do in order to give ourselves the best opportunity of getting there. So whether it's trying to remove pain, or trying to have a child, or trying to get into labour, trying to turn a breech baby, trying to get rid of morning sickness, trying to reduce hot flashes for menopause, it doesn't matter what it is. When we know where we're trying to head, then we can put a plan, a solution in place in order for us to try and get there. So I hope that's really important. The symphony, the magnificent symphony of three parts. Where did you come from? Where are you now? And most importantly, where are you headed? And it's perhaps the most critical part to me is that you have great clarity around particularly that third part. How we're going to try and get as close as possible to the solution that you're seeking. And if we can have that clarity, then we've got a really good chance of getting there. So I hope that makes sense, the magnificent symphony of three parts, and you're going to certainly experience that when we have our initial consultation or our initial conversation, and when we're talking about your health. So there you go. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.